welcome back to One Man's Tracks, and we got another episode of Goodwill Dumping for you. This week's episode is dedicated to the ladies. We've got 4 albums today that not all of them are horrible albums. They're not albums I want to immediately just get rid of right off the bat, but unfortunately, now that I've sat with them for a little bit, they still don't quite connect with me in a holistic manner. So, I have some tracks on them that I think are worth pointing out to you that are highlights for me that I think you'll enjoy, and maybe if you like those, you can check out the albums themselves and see for yourself what you think about them. So, we're going to start off jumping back to 1989 with Alannah Myles' Canadian self-titled debut album. It's got the classic single Black Velvet, and it's gonna bring you to your knees. Such a good track, such a great rocker. The opener is just a dependable album-oriented rock single, Still Got This Thing. Then you've got another great track following it up. Love is what I got for you. Love is really rockin' stomping track. Then you're hit with Black Velvet, and it starts to fade out and not really do it for me after this point. Kickstart My Heart comes in, and that's a decent track, but you get a couple of sort of emotional ballads, a couple of just kind of generic AOR tracks, and the thing's over, and I really want to like it, but I just don't. So, unfortunately for me, I'm gonna send Alannah back to the thrift shops, but I'm certain somebody's gonna really appreciate me doing that. Next up, we've got Lee Aaron's 6th album coming out in 1991. This is Some Girls Do. It's another Canadian rocker who is in more of a glam metal lane, shifts towards sort of country fusion, hard rock, but overall I feel like the production on this album packs all of those kind of into the same little box and makes it a pretty consistent project, but consistent to the point where it gets kind of boring and drony to the end. Sure, the opening track and Crazy in Love are like solid glam metal cuts, a little derivative, but really pack that punch that you look for in that kind of a song. Hands Off the Merchandise, Wanna Be Bad, Rock It, Roll It. Kind of turns a little more country fusion, like I said. You got the darker, hard rockier Can't Stand the Heat and Dangerous that come near the end. They're worth trying out, but like I said, overall the production mashes a bunch of stuff into a little package that didn't really need to be. You can let the individual songs have their own place and make their own statements. You don't have to make the album suffer for the sake of the project sounding like a holistic thing. So I think that's where it falters for me. I don't know. A lot of these albums have quite a team around them, so there's some decisions that are totally beyond just one little brain. Next up, we've got Electric Youth by Debbie Gibson, heading down to the States here for Debbie's 2nd album. This project is her most popular, spending I think 5 weeks at number 1 on the billboards and selling over 4 million copies. It's a lot poppier than those first 2 albums, and even more overproduced than Some Girls Do, that's for sure. Speaking of big teams working on an album, holy. It's got some tracks that I don't totally hate, though. I don't hate this album, I just think it's a little bit overwhelmingly fluffy and bubblegummy for my tastes. So, as someone who enjoyed Aqua as a kid, even this sometimes just feels a little bit grating, if you know what I mean. There's the opener. Who loves you, baby? Who really loves you, baby? Sure, catchy, dreamy pop song. I don't mind it. You've got a whole lot of corny, lovesick ballads in here. Lost in Your Eyes, not a bad song. Um, what else do I not hate? Over the Wall is a good song. I guess it should have been the one in the title track or decent little bops, but really, this isn't for me. I'm not the intended audience for this project, but I gave it a try, and if you want a fun little thing to check out Debbie Gibson's TV and film credits. She's been all over the place. I've got one album here that I'm gonna talk about, but mostly as a cautionary tale. This is Annie Lennox of the Eurythmics' second album that came out in 1995. It's titled Medusa. It's just a covers album where, for the most part, Annie just does these bland, melodramatic covers of really classic tracks. So, besides the opener, No More I Love Yous by the Lover Speaks, I think is what the original artist is, but she's totally claimed that song for herself. But she mangles a bunch more classic songs before you get to, I guess the second best song I would say is I Can't Get Next to You by the Pretenders. That's a funkier number that I don't mind as much. Thin Line Between Love and Hate is a passable, groovy Persuaders number that doesn't make this worth picking up. So avoid, avoid, avoid. Do not be tempted. It's out there. I've seen it. I tried it. Save you the trouble, guys. I don't really care what your thoughts are on that album, but I'm really curious what you guys think about these albums, and I'd love to know what your favorite albums by any of these artists are, because they all did a bunch of stuff, and I don't totally hate all of their songs, so maybe there's one that I don't have that is actually worth it for me. So let me know your favorite songs or your favorite albums by these artists. Alannah Myles, Debbie Gibson, Lee Aaron. Comments are always appreciated. Likes are great. Subscriptions are the lifeblood of any YouTube channel, so if you're still here, it's always free to just click that subscribe button and never come back. And that's okay, I guess. It makes me feel better for the day you click it. Either way, I need a bunch to make something seem like it's happening, so give them to me. Click on that subscribe button. I'll see you guys next video with more fantastic thrift shop CDs.